Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Thursday. It is currently 72 degrees, going to be a high of around 82, with a chance of showers throughout the day. And the moon set is 1:02 p.m., and the moon rise is going to be at 11:46 p.m., and the moon is in its last quarter. So, yeah, sorry I missed yesterday. The night before, I was out late, and when you go to sleep at midnight, getting up at 3 is unlikely. So, um, uh, but um, here we are, and we're in a study of Job, and we're in Job chapter 3. And in Job chapter 3, he starts off with wishing he was never born. And as I processed it, he's not suicidal, right? He's not saying I'm going to um, delete myself, but he is saying I wish I was never born, right? And um, in that he's like, I wish that day never happened, or something happened where my mom's womb closed, like something came up and made it so that they didn't conceive. But then in so that's 1 through 10, okay? But then in verse 11 and 12, he asks a couple why questions. Why did I die at birth and come out in my mother's womb and expire? So, um, why did he survive the birth? Um, and that gives us an inkling of how difficult birthing was at the time. Um, they didn't have all the advanced medicine and technology that we have today. So, they had midwives and doulas, but, it, a lot more babies didn't make it through difficult births, right? And then he says, why did the knees receive me? Or why the breasts that I should nurse? Like, he's asking these questions as if he wasn't worth it, right? And then um, in verse 13, 14, and 15, he compares himself to a class of people. And actually, there is one more that we're going to add to this class, and that's the taskmaster from verse 18. So he, for then I would have lain down and been quiet. I would have slept. Then I would have been at rest. All right. So if he's feeling like if he wasn't born or did not make it through the birth, he would have rest. Okay, and he equates that with um, kings and counselors of the earth who rebuilt ruins for themselves. So amassed kingdoms out of uh, desolate places, or places in ruin, places in shambles, um, and rebuilt um, palace, right? Rebuilt a kingdom. So having a kingdom, right? He equates with the rest of actually in this case of not making it through birth. Then he says, or with princes who had gold, who filled their houses with silver. So kings amassed kingdom, princes amassed wealth. Okay, so he's equating it, not making it, with wealth. All right, with wealth and the kingdom. And these people he thinks who have a kingdom and have wealth have no worries, right? They don't have to strive for anything. Okay. Then verse 16, or still as a why was I not as a hidden stillborn child, as infants who never see the light? So um, born dead, maybe not a complication at birth, but born um, without life, right? um, and so he was still born but never see light, right? Then he says, now here's another group of people. So you got kings and princes. Here we got the wicked cease from troubling. All right, so now we have wicked people, right? And they trouble, right? They trouble others. They trouble themselves, um, and the weary. All right, so another group, the weary, are at rest. Um, so here, right, he's equating it um, with the wicked cease from troubling. So no, nothing from the wicked bothering him, and he's never tired, right? So you don't, if you were born without life, right? You have no troubles from wicked people, and you're not tired from being dealing with the troubles. Then, verse 18, there the prisoners are at ease together. Another group, prisoners. Now, prisoners stress and yearn, right? They're at ease together. So, group together at ease instead of group together, stressing to get out or yearning to get out. The stresses of what's happening while I'm in here. Um, and then now we have the taskmaster. Now, the taskmaster, he sits with the group of power, the kings and the princes. And here it says, the prisoners are at ease together. They hear not the voice of their taskmaster. The taskmaster is the one telling everybody what to do, he's bossing everybody around. Okay? Now, listen to the next question. Why is light given to him who is in misery, and life to the bitter in soul? Um, mm. So, being born with life, right? And him being born, he's saying his life is full of misery and bitterness. Okay, he he is um, who long for death, but it comes not, and dig for it more than hidden treasures. Okay, so um, here, and this is uh, you know, as I read this, I think of times in my personal life, um, pre salvation and post salvation, of things seemingly being so hard and me having to strive so hard, um, not understanding grace. Right? Once I understood grace and some other things, giving in church, giving, tithing. Once I understood those things, um, the my perspective on things changed, right? And I wasn't exceeding, like striving with everything I had anymore. I was operating in faith, in a true faith. You don't actually have. I don't have any worries, right? We don't. Um, He provides our every need. Okay, He provides our every need. Um, he, I mean, just so many. Like even now, up here, there's a program. If you have kids, they've got a week's worth of lunches for you per kid for free that you go and pick up. You know how much money that saves, right? And even if that didn't happen, he would still find, like, he's so good like that. And so operating in faith, it changes the perspective. But I see how Job got here, right? I see what he's saying about the striving and the trying so hard, and um, you know being troubled by wicked people, and being tired from searching out or trying to establish the kingdom and amass the silver, right? um, you have a boss you have to submit to. I get that. And but on the flip side of that is faith, right? And in that, these worries aren't so you know, you're not searching for I'm being trying to be careful what I say because it's going on YouTube, uh, of no life, right? Searching for no life, searching to have no life, right? Who long for death, but it comes not, and dig for it more than for hidden treasures, who rejoice exceedingly and are glad when they find the grave. Because, and you know, like Job, I thought that that would be easier than life, right? Um, a secular rap song that I used to listen to in the 90s, um, it said, there's got to be a heaven because we're living in hell. That's Wu Tang. But there's got to be a heaven because we're living in hell. And I remember like thinking that, right? I remember thinking that, and that's, you know, that's not the case, y'all. That's not the case. Um, if you're born again, you're at the right hand of God. Your soul, your I guess metaphysical life is you know His witness, your spirit, where your witness is a child of God, and we're seated with Him, where Jesus is, we are always, and we never. So like, um, we we have claim in heaven right now. Okay, we have claim in heaven right now. Why is light given to a man whose way is hidden, whom God has hedged it? Again, this question of so why is light given to a man whose way is hidden? So you know, pre-salvation, I didn't know a way, my way, and even after, it took me to really understand grace, to have faith, and to, you know, even if I don't see exactly the direction God's sending me, I still, um, my way is not hidden, right? My way is heaven, y'all. My way is heaven. Your way is heaven. Um, and all the things in between, um, a lot of it that we worry about, we shouldn't, because the scriptures say He takes care of that anyway. Um, you know, so we we strive after things that we don't need to. A lot of this being weary and lack of rest and trouble comes from placing our intentions in the wrong place. Say, verse 24, for my sighing comes instead of my bread, and my groanings are poured out like water. Then verse 25, for the thing that I fear comes upon me, and what I dread befalls me. And then he answers, listen, this, because this has been me. Sometimes it still is. I am not at ease. That's his dread. I am not at ease. See, he had that hedge of protection. He had a compound. He had wealth with flocks. He had a big family. He, his wife. He prayed to God. He was a faithful man, but he had ease, right? Nor am I quiet, right? Troubled. He's troubled. I have no rest, but trouble comes. Yeah, that's his dread. That's his fear. And it came upon him. Wow. Right? Wow. How many of us have that fear? How many of us put our faith in our job, put our faith in our home, put our faith in food, in wealth, in our vehicles? You know, there's so many Americans that drive around with a vehicle payment that is half or a third as much as their mortgage, right? Like, wow, right? Where's our faith? Where's our faith? And what do we strive after? What's our intentions after. For Job, it was ease, right? It was ease. It was quiet, and he was when he had all those things, his heart was quiet, his trouble was quiet. He had rest. He had rest. All right, you guys have a wonderful day.